Okay, I've started the recording for the lecture. So let's begin. I'm going to share my screen with you. So you can see the very first topic, which is not very big. We just need to understand that standard abbreviations or common abbreviations are like the short forms, and we're supposed to understand that what does it mean. So it's not like which is a compulsion. I would say that everybody would know all the abbreviations, but of course they say or they advise us there are a few things which we should definitely have in our mind. Uh, One we can see over here, if it's approximately, it's approx. Then we have uh, appointment, it's this, apartment is this, ASAP. I think this is a very common abbreviation. Everybody knows this is as soon as possible. Okay. ETA, that's a very common one, estimated time of arrival. Then minimum and maximum, miscellaneous, Mr. This is important. You can see over here, that is Mrs., which is called as mistress. The pronunciation is Mrs. So that's why I call it as Mrs. Otherwise, actual meaning of the mistress. Then we have RSVP. You must have seen that abbreviation in a lot of wedding cards, or where it has got invite. So that's the French term. Respondez el voice split. It means please reply. What is the meaning of it? Like, you must be aware of, like, here we call it like RSVP. Then we write down the names of our kids, and we think of like these comes under RSVP without knowing it. I told you in a very first lecture, whatever we write down, it has a meaning, especially in English, because of course in every language we can say that we do have a rich culture. So similarly, in their language they do also have their culture, because if they have picked some words, it has the definite meaning of it. So RSVP, it does not mean like we write down the names of somebody. It means please reply. Now, what is the meaning? Uh, we are coming into that situation right now, but they are already into it, because they understand the timing, they understand the value of time. So what they do, they actually look for the RSVP, because they want to confirm this in that who will be available on that time. So those who will be available on the time, they need to reply, because they had to book as according to it. So it does not mean like we call it as a langar. So everybody it comes and anybody can come and have a meal over there. Everything it comes under fixed. You can say that planning. So those who will reply, their seat will be confirmed, will be booked. So that is how it has been requested to everybody that this is the uh, what do you call invite we have sent to you, invitation we have sent to you, and as according to it, you're supposed to reply it in and we'll book it. So that is the actual meaning of RSVP. So there are other gallon. You must have heard of that word in US. That's the country. I think, of course, in some part of Middle East they use this term. Otherwise, all other part of the world it uses liter. But these countries they use gallon, so it has more number of liters into it. It's approximately 3.5 liters in 1 gallon. Then quad, you can see the map applications. AV is avenue, boulevard. These are some of the terms which comes under the English, map applications. They try to use this thing. We do use like lane for LN, ST for street. Then we have the directions of like in east, north, west. Then academics and job titles. We can see this thing. These are these common and the short abbreviations like Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, like BTech is Bachelor of Technology, right? So these are some of the standard or the common abbreviations. Similarly, like there are a few others. They are saying like ROFL. You must have seen these things in WhatsApp chats, rolling on the floor, laughing. ROFL is this, and we no problem. LOL, laugh out loud. A lot of time people think about is LOL, so it's laugh out loud. So these are some of the common abbreviations people use, right? For the social networking sites, you can say this. So this is basically what we call the common abbreviations. We have AM and PM, of course. They're telling you what is AM, which we used to denote morning. Is an abbreviation for an anti-meridian before noon. Some call it as before Christ and after the death of Christ, but they tell you that this is the reason we call it, or we use the AM and PM. PM stands for the post meridian, means afternoons, before noon and afternoon. That is how is AM PM we use it. AD is the era in which we live. So AD is actually abbreviation of Anno Domini, as I said, after the death of Christ of Lord. Before Christ, that is AD and BC. So that is I use A and B is basically for timing. AD and BC is for timing, of course, but this is for the years. We can say this thing. So that's how we use it. Easy again, as I've said, for example, ETC is for etc. Okay. So these are some of the post-scripting that you wrote something and at the end you realize that it has left something. So what you can do, you can um, write down the text at the end of it by writing post-scripting. So that is what means the script has already been written, but you have realized that something has left out of it. So what you're supposed to do, you can write down at the end of it and just write under the what you call tag of post-scripting, which is called p.s. Okay. So this is the reference means I took it from internet, of course. So I wrote the reference over there because it's already in your what you call Google Classroom. So you can see from there as well. And this is what it is. Now comes to the next topic, which is your phrases and clauses, or in your question paper, usually where it comes, they ask you the difference between the compound and complex sentences. So there will be sentences written, and by seeing that sentences, you're supposed to write down that is this the compound sentence or is this the complex sentence. So in this year paper, even a question it has come where they have asked about this thing. Right. So let's understand about the complex and the compound sentences. Right? So I took the reference from the EnglishGrammarRevolution.com. So that is the reference I took it because that's very important to find out something which is authentic. Have you ever wondered how to tell the difference between complex sentence and compound sentences? This would be a question in your paper. They'll ask you that differentiate between complex and compound sentences. This year paper, in English paper, you must have, you should, I think, not must have, you should ask your friends from the physics group now. So they'll tell you that this was the first question that has been asked. That was the first B question, where they wrote like about 5 questions and answer was very simple. You just have to write down this is complex or the compound sentence. So they gave you example over. They're saying, first let us describe the issue so that we are all on the same page. Let's look at these 2 sentences. I washed my hands and I ate breakfast. I washed my hands before I ate breakfast. So you see what is the difference here? The whole of the sentence is same, but the difference what I found over here, that is between the and before. So they're saying they differ by just one word, that is and because, and that what changes the structure of the sentence. One of those sentences is compound and one of them is complex. How can you tell the difference? First, let's review what compound and complex sentences are. So rather than just tell you that this is compound or this is complex or this is complex or this is compound, they tell you need to understand why we call it a compound or why we call it as a complex sentence. So first, let's move towards compound sentence. They're saying we have independent clauses, which are a group of words that have a subject and a verb and can stand alone as a complete thought. Means there will be one sentence when you read it, you do not find out that this requires any of the support. So it will look like as the complete sentence. That is what is called as an independent clause. For example, they have written here, she cooked and he cleaned. She cooked, he cleaned. So these are independent clauses. And is the coordinated conjunction, which actually combines 2 sentences, and this is how it has become one sentence. She cooked and he cleaned. This is how they're saying this is the example of compound sentences. Did you notice that the independent clauses above are connected with the coordinating conjunction, and that coordinating conjunction is and. So all of the clauses in a compound sentence are equally important, and the coordinating conjunction does nothing to change the rank of the clause. The clause expresses related thoughts, and neither clause is more important structurally. The only function of the coordinating conjunction is to connect the clause and indicate a very simple relationship between them. So they gave you a very easy example. That is what with the help of as in your mathematics you learn some of the formulas and you apply. To differentiate or to find out compound sentences, the formula is fanboys. Fanboys means the initial words you can, with the help of initial words, you can find out. F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for not, B stands for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. So this is what I have written, and they said that if you will forget it, that how I would I remember like for and nor but or yet so. So what you can do, you can remember it by just keeping one word in your mind, that is fanboy. So these are the initials of those coordinating conjunctions, and with the help of those coordinating conjunctions, what sentence we make? Compound sentence. So in your question, if they ask you find out the complex or the compound sentence, what you would do, you just have to look on to the sentence and try to find out for fanboys. If it has mentioned or there are two independent clauses which are somehow connected with the help of these fanboys, it means it says compound sentence. It's not complex sentence. Okay. That's what I said there. For example, she cooked and he cleaned. So and is a subordinate conjunction. So with the help of it, we can easily find out this is called as compound sentences. Okay. Now we come to the complex sentences. These are formed from one independent clause and at least one subordinate clause. This means that the clauses in a complex sentence are not structurally equal. The clauses express related thoughts, or one clause acts as the foundation of the sentence. As example, for example, my mom smiled when I made dinner. Subordinate conjunction is when over here, so which is not from the fanboy, so we can understand this is not the compound sentence. The subordinate conjunction is different, so that is how we call it as the complex sentence. Meaning they have expressed over here, the hint they have given means if it does not come under the category of fanboys, and subordinate conjunction is something different, so you can easily find out, okay, this is complex sentences, this is not compound sentences, and it's a very easy mark. Means you can score very easily. You just have to write down compound and complex, and if there are 5 marks, you will get your 5 marks. It is same like grammar is same like maths. It's like it's not something you write and we'll find out some mistakes or idea we do not like it or content is little weak, so we could cut down your marks. If it's a 15 marks question, we probably will give you maximum 10, 11, 12 marks. That's it. But for the grammar, we cannot cut down because there is a direct question and you're supposed to answer that question directly. Once you answer that question directly, we're supposed to give the 100 marks and marks in grammar to you. So 5 means you'll get directly the 5 marks out of this. Okay. They're saying there are many subordinate conjunctions, so memorizing them would be giant task. Here are a few examples for you. For example, after, because, if, since, when, while. So these are some of the common subordinate conjunctions we use into the complex sentences. But again, it will be hard for you to remember because in complex sentences we have a more number of subordinate conjunctions. But in we take example of compound sentences. So we have only few. So we can remember as we have first letter, initials, abbreviations. So you could write down the subordinate conjunctions, or you need not to write it. Basically, you need to just find out. You need to recognize that this is what I am using. This is what you call your compound and complex sentences. Okay, that's the only thing which comes actually into your paper. Means they ask you, and you need to just find out the difference between the compound and the complex sentences. So we are not going anything deep into it. It's very easy. You can keep that into your mind. You can check your previous year question paper. Okay, in your previous year question paper, previous year means previous semester. So you can see that and they have just asked, the difference between the complex and the compound sentence. Okay. I think you must have understood. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay. So standard abbreviation, common abbreviations, they do not ask you very tough one, like we were confused that what does it mean. So the journal ones they ask you because these are the abbreviations we use every day in everyday situations. Like etc. As I've said that examples, these are common abbreviations as soon as possible, ASAP. So these are common abbreviations. So if this comes, they ask you the journal rules. And for the compound complex sentences, we have just cleared. So let's discuss the rest part, that is the tense we have started. So indefinites we have completed. We have completed present, past, and future indefinite. Let's start with our continuous. So today we will discuss present continuous tense. Rules are very simple for the present continuous. First of all, let's understand that what do you mean by it. As indefinites, I have told you that we are not sure of what time we are talking about. So it will be just indefinite. I play, I go. So you do, but when you do, when it is happening, we are not sure of it is. That is why we call it as present, past, future, but indefinite. In continuous, now we have recognition of a time. We talk about the timing which is going on. Continuous mean which is going on. We are discussing. Of course, we have a present, past, and a future meaning, which tells you about the continuation in the past, in present, or in future. Okay, so present continuous tense, which tells you about the continuation in the present form. Rules are is MR plus verbs first form plus ing. So that's what it is. Subject, we have verbs first form, then we use ing with our verb, for example. Um, we again have the subcategories like affirmative, negative, interrogative, and of course uh, interrogative, negative. So let's first of all discuss the first category, that is affirmative. As we discussed a few of the examples about the indefinite levels, I play cricket. Here we can say that I am playing. Okay? I am playing means right now I am playing. Thing is going. Match is going on. Okay? Match is going on. I am playing. So this is something which is still in process and right now it is happening. That is why it is called as present continuous tense. So differentiation we talk about, or are, it is for plurals basically. When we have you, we, they, these kind of subjects we use are. Then we have is, he, she, it, and name we use is. Am is basically for I. So is, am, are. There are three your helping those, we can say this thing we use into the present continuous tense, but we need to apply verbs first form and ing. And some of the states or some of the places they don't call it verbs first form or ing, they call it as I think V4. So don't get confused with it, it's V4 and V1. So I just simplified uh, that the verb it will remain the first and we use it as ing, but at some of the places, as I've told you, they call it as V4 I think. So V4 means it's participle, means we are using ing with it. So that is how it has become present continuous tense. In negative, we just apply the not with it. For example, I am not playing. That will be a negative. Match is not going on. We are not studying. We are not attending lecture. Okay, so that's negative of anything which you want to say. Then we have interrogative. In interrogative sentences, what we do, we apply the questions. So there will be question that where you ask questions in a sentence. For example, is he playing? Right. So again, there's a question. You are curious to know that what is the situation presently in present, what is going on. So that is how we can ask questions like, is he playing, is he studying, something like that. So work is in continuation, but we have changed the category. So category it comes under uh, the questions, we can say, that is interrogative. We are trying to interrogate what exactly is the situation right now. So ask for the situation, we do this. Okay, so that is what we call interrogative present continuous. So of course it will be interrogative negative. What we will do, we'll just simply write like that. Is he not going to play? That is interrogative negative. So we are interrogating, of course, we ask a question, of course, and along with we have negative in our mind that if he is not going to, or that this is going to happen. So that is how you have said that he not going to play. So that is why you have said. Okay, that is
So
what you
is it
call
called
it.
negative interrogative or interrogative negative?
Faisal, आपका was clear नहीं. What did you say?
So I'm saying that is it called negative interrogative or interrogative negative?
Can you write it? I am unable to understand. Your voice is
Okay, wait.
not very clear. Would you please write down in chat box? Are you writing, Faisal? Call it negative interrogative, interrogative. Look, it will be interrogative negative. Negative interrogative means you apply negative first. So when you try to make sentence like that, uh, not he is coming to school. So the sentence I don't think so will give any of these sense here. But when you write down something like is he not going to college? So the sentence it comes. So what we apply before that is the question interrogative. At after you consider interrogation, we apply the negative it. So that's why it's more applicable to use the interrogative negative rather than to say the negative interrogative. Because when you apply negative first, then you interrogate, then will be negative interrogative. But it does not matter, it's not more important that it is called as interrogative negative or negative interrogative. It is more important that you should know that how you're supposed to use it. Because we have to write the sentence, we have to speak the sentence, we have to read the sentence, so it will be more important that you will understand that what exactly it is, how we are doing it. Okay? Yes, anything else?
So, excuse me,
Hmm.
sir.
हाँ जी साजिद बोलिए.
So actually, in clause we use the subordinating conjunction like that to join two independent clause. So, sir, in past and in present we use the same kind of expression in both the clauses. But why in future it changes? Like first it is in future, and then after
Future it
subordinating
changes.
conjunction, then after it change to present.
You said that like in future it does
Yes,
not
sir.
change or
So
it
in the
changes.
future sentences changes why?
Hmm? What
So
did you say? In
in
future it
past and
changes.
present, as you know, so I'm saying that in the past and present, it is a different way to write. But in future, we use first sentence in future, then after comma we use it in a present tense. So why
What
it
you are
varies?
asking? You are asking for complex and compound sentences or
Yes, sir.
present continuous.
Yes, yes. सर फ्यूचर में वो वैरी क्यों करता है? जैसे पास्ट हम लोग यूज़ करते हैं तो दोनों सेंटेंस पास्ट में ही होता है क्लाउज जब बनाते हैं, और जब फ्यूचर की बात करते हैं तो फ्यूचर फर्स्ट वाला
कंपाउंड
फ्यूचर हो
कॉम्प्लेक्स पे
जाता है,
मुझे
उसके
बताओ,
बाद
कंपाउंड कॉम्प्लेक्स की बात कर रहे हो ना? ये
यस यस
टेंस तो नहीं पूछ रहे हो? टेंस इज क्लियर टू यू?
नो सर, या टेंस इज क्लियर.
ओके, हाँ आप पूछो, क्या पूछो?
सो इन
फ्यूचर
क्लाउज
में क्या
सर
वेरी करता
फ्यूचर
है?
या फ्यूचर में फर्स्ट इफ वी वांट टू राइट वी यूज फर्स्ट वन इन फ्यूचर, after the comma we use clause and make the other write the other sentence in present tense. So why it is vary like that?
आई एम नॉट गेटिंग योर क्वेश्चन. यू आर आस्किंग फॉर कंपाउंड एंड कॉम्प्लेक्स. It's not about present or past. It's about a subordinate conjunction. Nothing we have read here. They are not talking about any grammar over here. They are talking about that how does it matter if my screen is still shared. Yes. So you can see they are talking about a coordinating conjunction. If it is cooked or something, they don't apply, or they do not bother about it. Even in the last they wrote very nicely blah 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 connecting verb blah 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 blah. So it means to say that does not matter these things. Matter it's that is a subordinate conjunction. Because on the basis of your subordinate conjunction, you would be able to find out this is complex or the compound sentence. Nothing else. We need to get confused. We need not to pay attention to anything else. Just pay attention towards your subordinate connection. Subject verb, subordinate connection. My mom smiled. That's past when I made dinner. So this is more important. So you need to just find out the answers from subordinate connections, of course. Done. This is what your syllabus is. Okay. I think I have made my point clear to you. Is anyone else who want to ask something? Or I should start asking questions to you. Questions means we should do practice as we do every day. in our lectures. So I'm going to ask you a few of the questions.
Hello, sir.
Okay, I'm going to ask. Just hold on for a second.
Sir, do you hear me? Hello.
Hello, Hanji beta, Hanji.
Sir, what's the main difference between present continuous tense and present perfect continuous tense?
Uh, Present perfect continuous is basically a tense which connects you from the past, then to the present continuation. For example, if you say that, sometimes we use it in a longer sense, like, we say that I am working here from 2010. So it seems like that I, spoke right sentence, which is wrong. We cannot use like that. It is supposed to be I have been working here since 2010. So when you try to connect something from the past, then it should come under the category of present perfect continuous. You should not use in a present continuous. Present continuous when we are not connecting it something from our past. We just talk about regular that he is playing, he is going, I am working here. But when I try to say that I am working here from this, from means you're trying to make connection in the past. Then you need to automatically switch it to the present perfect continuous.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I wrote in the chat box the conclusion that I have. So you're listening. Hello.
He will retire when he turns 65, sir. Something like this. He will retire when he turns 65, sir. Something like that. He will retire when he turns 65. Again, I tell you this thing. When you need to find out the answer to it, it does not have a difference in the grammar. I'm trying to tell you the difference. It lies in your subordinating conjunction. Whatever you're using, they have said that like if you apply with the fanboys, it will be called as compound. If it will be other than the fanboys, it will be called as complex. Very simple. Grammar, like your past, present, future does not matter over here. Actually, I am going to share my screen with you, so we will do practice for the simple, compound, and complex sentences. Let's see how it comes. Screen is shared with you. Is it visible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first question is we met rather few people who spoke English. It's simple, complex, or compound. The check a score later. I think it did not tell you about your score on the spot, but we'll just see that because these are just online exercises. Uh, and into camera issue कर दो. कार्ड आप अपना यूज कर दो. नहीं सर. अपना 2 मिनट 4 फोटो. Okay. We met rather few people who spoke English. Yes. What is the right answer? It's simple, complex, or
So your
compound?
screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. I just
Yes,
asked you, you
sir.
said that visible.
It's not visible.
Let me try again. Okay. Yes, we met rather few people who spoke English. Simple, complex, and compound. I think is it visible now?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Now visible.
Yes. So 1 to 3, which is the right answer?
Complex sentence, sir.
So
Hello.
complex.
Complex.
So compound,
Yes, sir.
compound.
Complex.
Okay. If you are saying
It's
complex, some
complex
of you are saying
sentence.
compound.
It's complex sentence.
Simple.
Some are saying simple. Okay, we'll take one. So you would get the answer. That is it wrong or a right? Look, it's wrong answer they are saying. It's compound sentence. Now try to find out. Oh, that was second, I think. Yeah, first one is correct for the complex sentence. The given sentence has a main clause
Okay.
and a subordinate adjective clause. So that is why it is a complex sentence. Okay, because it's a who. We do not have anything which it makes it compound. Second, I mistakenly hit because I was trying to hit for the complexness, and it's the second one. So right answer is compound. I have been on rather too many planes and trains recently. That is why the sentence is the given sentence has only one infinite verb, and hence it has only one clause. So we do not have anything which we connect over here. That is why we're going to call it. So they're saying complex is wrong. Third one is we drove right up to Helsinki in 2 days. Yes.
Compound.
Compound.
So it's
Compound.
simple sentence.
We drove
Simple,
right
sir.
up to Helsinki in two
Simple.
days. I don't think so.
Simple.
यहाँ पे कोई connection,
Sim-
कोई coordinating connection नजर आ रही है. But
Simple.
फिर भी आप बोलते हो तो compound लगाऊं.
Simple.
Yes, sir, compound.
Simple.
No, sir. No.
क्या बोलूं? Simple लगाऊं.
Simple, sir.
Yes,
Simple.
sir.
Yes, it's the right answer. It's a simple sentence. They're saying given sentence has only one finite verb and it has only one clause. That is why it is called as simple one. I don't care how expensive it is.
The
Complex.
complex. Complex.
Complex.
Complex.
Okay,
Complex.
correct answer. The given sentence is a main clause and a subordinate noun clause which acts as the object of the verb don't care. So there are two things which is connecting. That is what we are saying. It is complex but does not come under the compound category, fanboy category. 2 minutes ago the child was forced asleep, but now he is wide awake. Now what it is?
Sir,
Compound.
Compound, sir.
compound, sir.
Compound, sir.
Yeah, it is
Compound.
compound because of what? Yes, it's compound. It's fanboys. The given sentence has two coordinate clause connected by the connection. But he is not tall enough to be a soldier.
Simple.
Simple, sir.
Simple, sir.
Complex.
Yes, it's the right answer. It's a
Complex.
simple sentence. Right. So next is I guess she just doesn't respect you.
Complex.
Complex.
Complex, sir.
जिससे नोट कर ले पी के लेके जा रहे हो कार्ड है अंदर बैटरी कैमरा नहीं बस वही सिर्फ yes it's a simple one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's
Yes,
a
sir.
wrong one. It's wrong.
Sorry, sir.
They're saying the given sentence has a main clause and a subordinate clause which acts as the object of the verb yes. So this is something typical, we can say that.
Sir, I said
Yeah.
complex.
Oh, you said complex, okay, fine. Good. I have got four sisters and each of them is quite different from the others.
Complex.
Complex.
Compound, sir.
Why compound? Because of
Sir,
and?
and लगा हुआ है इसमें, and लगा हुआ है, sir.
Okay, let's check for the compound. Yes, it's a correct answer because of and. It's the compound sentence. It's not complex. You can either come with me now or walk home.
Simple.
Simple. और कहाँ गया? Simple कैसे बन गया?
Complex, sir.
Compound,
Complex.
sir. Fanboy.
और में क्या लगेगा?
Complex, sir.
कॉम्प्लेक्स
Complex.
लगेगा?
Compound, sir. Compound.
The
चलो
compound.
ये कॉम्प्लेक्स बोल रहे हैं इनको कॉम्प्लेक्स कर लेने दो पर कॉम्प्लेक्स कर लग रहा है अभी भी यू स्टिल फील लाइक कॉम्प्लेक्स
No, sir.
हाँ
Sir,
it's
compound.
compound बेटा it's not complex ठीक है और लगा हुआ he'll never leave home because he hasn't got the courage to because
Sir,
so
complex.
Complex.
because में complex आएगा
Compound, sir.
Complex, sir.
wrong है बेटा
Complex.
the given
Complex.
sentence is main clause one clause adverb clause so that's why it is complex not compound.
Complex.
Yeah, I said.
When all else fails, read the user manual. Yes,
It's compound, sir.
it's compound क्यों? कुछ लगा
Yes,
हुआ
sir.
है.
Compound,
Sir,
sir.
It's not
comma लगा
connecting
हुआ है,
anything.
sir.
Comma तो ये comma is not subordinate connection. But if you want, I can hit it compound.
When,
It's
sir,
a
मेरे ख्याल
simple,
से
sir.
complex
Simple.
होगा.
It's a
Simple
simple
sentence.
sentence, sir.
Complex.
Simple गलत हो गया भाई. It's complex. The given sentence is a main clause, point clause. That's why it's a complex.
Complex.
दो है ना इसमें कहीं वो नहीं है. Connection नहीं है इसका. That's why. It was Sam who paid for the drinks.
Complex.
Compound.
Complex, sir. Complex.
This is the right answer. Who is somehow the connection who is making two clauses being clause and thus one adjective clause. So this is what answer has been given. I think you must have understood by this exercise, right? So I'll ask you one of the quiz as well related to the compound and complex, or two, three questions for the present continuous tense. Okay, please attempt regularly your quizzes, which I post in your Google Classroom. That's very important for you. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop recording now because I need to take your attendance as well. Just hold on for a second. I'm going to stop the recording first, then I will take care.